What's going on, people? Welcome to Conversation with Haych, the how-to series. And this is a series where we speak to amazing people doing amazing things, and we give you, the viewers, encouragement and advice on particular topics. The topic today is how to better manage our money. You see, I took the Y off that rather than your and said our, so we can build all as a family. You understand that? And our guest today is a successful financial advisor, TV presenter that's appeared on BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Sky News, and more. He has his own podcast co-hosting with his wife, Mariam, called the Eman Effect podcast on all your usual streaming platforms, as well as the Eman Effect YouTube channel. He's the real king on Instagram, you know, the real king, giving us advice on how to be better people, and sometimes telling some of us off to, let's be real. Former Soft Life member, now father of four beautiful children and a husband. The Eman Effect UK, also known as Emmanuel Asuquo. How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, my bro. I'm good. How are you, man? Thank you for the intro. I love that. Love that.
Because the thing is, I've watched some of your stuff where you've done interviews with other people, and they're just like, yes, the Eman Effect UK, Emmanuel. Yeah. And I'm just like, nah, he's done some stuff, you know, you got to respect the man, you know. You gotta respect him.
Nah, I hear you, man. Thank you for having me, man. I'm looking forward to this, man. It's glad to be on, man. Glad to be on. I see you had some fire guests before, so you know, I'll come and show them the levels. You know,
I know you're gonna be great. I know you're gonna be great. So, for those who don't know who you are, just give us a brief intro into who Emmanuel Asuquo is.
Yeah. So, obviously, first of all, first ministry, most important is my family. So, got my wonderful wife Miriam, 4 children, and that's my everything. That's why we do what we do. That's what makes me up in the morning and keep going.
Yeah.
But before that, and all of that, I've been a financial advisor for the last 15 years. So basically, I help people that work hard for their money make their money work for them. I think for a lot of us, we know how to work, we know how to go out and get job after job and get paid, but we don't know how to make that money work for us. And that's what I decided to do. I've been in the banks for a long time, and I just decided that, I'm tired of helping rich people get richer. Like, it just doesn't work for me.
I hear that.
Like, a lot of my colleagues when I was in the bank, they, the goal is 50 clients with 10 mil or more, and you're done. You don't need to, you know what I mean? You don't even need that. Wow. Even if you had 50 clients with 1 mil or more, you can still live a good life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And I just felt like, my impact, the knowledge is so much more needed than just the small, high net worth people. Like, I needed to get this information to the masses so that can seep down from generation to generation, and we can really build wealth. So for me, I call myself the people's financial advisor. I'm not here to be the financial advisor to the rich and the wealthy. I'm here to be the financial advisor to the people, and the people know who they are.
Yeah. That's better than the intro I gave you myself. I should let me just clip that, and then I'll put that at the start. And I'll put that over. But now I love that. I love how you've kind of like taken your expertise, your knowledge, all the things that you've gained, and we'll touch briefly just a little bit on your story further along in terms of the questions. But I love that. I actually love how inspiring and what you're trying to do for the people. Do you know what I mean? That's great.
Yeah.
My next question is, what are the common mistakes you've heard people make about money, and why do you believe we have some of these misconceptions?
I mean, let's talk. You said I tell people off on the internet. What are we about to tell them off right now? No, I'm joking. Keep listening, people. No, but you know what? The number one mistake is, I think I always tell people, is that we haven't learned true value. And that is the number one mistake. And what do you mean? I know the value. No, I think we don't know our true value.
Oh, wow.
I think that for a lot of us, we have learned value in things. And our belief is that the things are what add value to us.
Yes.
Instead of seeing the value in ourselves.
That's good.
And that's a lot of us. I was even there myself. You understand? This is a learning thing. I'm not talking from a point of, I've always known. This is something that I've learned over time.
Yeah.
Especially when you come from nothing and you don't have much. The only thing, look, my parents used to take pride. We were poor. See Sunday, listen, we're wearing the best clothes. My dad's washing the car on Saturday, ready for Sunday. Do you understand what I'm
saying? To show out,
To show out. we washing the car because obviously them man are not paying car wash. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Ain't got no money to waste. Man's washing the car himself.
Yes.
We go in there. Everyone's wearing their best clothes. You know what I mean? When church finished, everyone's standing, bringing the car in front of the church. Just so everyone can see you get in and see that you're doing well in life. You know, we're not driving the old car. We got a new thing now. You understand? And so we've been conditioned from there. Do you know what I mean? We've been conditioned to show that, like, you know, when people come around, like, you know, you got your house, got to look this and do this. And I remember in my parents' house, we had a display unit. Where you have all the plates and the glasses. No one can't use them.
No one can't touch them unless the Queen's coming.
Unless you understand. My mum had this. I remember this guy coming to sell my mum this silver and gold pots.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. Mum, you know you use the black pot there. The pot is silver, black at the bottom from being used so much.
So over decades.
Come on. And now you got this, now you want this silver and gold thing for when people come. True say you don't even invite nobody to the yard. I understand who you try to, you don't even invite nobody. Like, we ain't had no visitors in years. And there was no lockdown. Do you know what I mean? There was no lockdown. I'm not going to say coronavirus. This was way before any of that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But this is the condition. This is how, this is the number one mistake. When I tell people, like, and I go on, like, because anything else you can talk about, it all stems from this.
Wow.
It all stems from the fact that we have been taught that by buying these brands, buying these labels, going on these holidays, driving these cars, owning these things, we are valuable. And I need people to know that we are already valuable with or without them. The day you realize and understand that your value, you're already valuable, you're already special, you're one of a kind. You are the only version of you. Anything unique has high value, no? When we look at art, it's a one of a kind. You are a one of a kind. Even twins have different things. You understand? Like you understand? You are one of a kind. And so when you realize that you are already valuable and none of these things do not add more value to you, you are already valuable. The value doesn't come with or without them. When you understand that, you start to understand and see life in a different way. Wow. And the problem is that we're not that doesn't work for capitalism. You see the system? The system doesn't. You see if we don't spend, imagine, especially in a country like the UK. Remember, we ain't got no manufacturing. You know, we ain't got no plants. We ain't got no power plants. We ain't got no things that we're making and we're sending over to other. Listen, our biggest industry is financial services. Yeah, that's is financial services. And so we are a service-based economy, which means that a service-based economy requires people to buy stuff. Yeah. And you see, like now, when people are a bit shook or when money gets tight and cost of everything starts going up, and people start buying less, we are in trouble. Oh, yes. We are in trouble. And so for me, it's about us understanding that, you know, our value doesn't come from the things that we can buy, the house that we live in, the cars that we own. Our value comes from inside the people that we are. Because you know what? I always tell people when it comes to divorce, people don't divorce because the house was too big or the car was too. They divorce because of the characteristics, how they were treated. What do you understand what I'm trying to say? And so sometimes we look at, I need this, I need that. But at the end of the day, the things that make us, when it like at a time like coronavirus, it was about spending time with our family. Yep. Like the biggest thing we missed was just being able to see our family members and spend time with our friends when we were locked down. You didn't miss, I need a bigger car, or I need to, like, I need a, do you know what I mean?
Because you ain't going nowhere. You ain't
going nowhere. You can't go nowhere. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And when you switched on the news and you saw people dying, numbers, they were saying it like, 2,000.
Yeah, like it was nothing.
It was nothing. It doesn't matter whether you watch that in a Ralph shirt or you watch that in a Boss shirt or Dior, or whether you had your Gucci loafers on. These things are not what's important at the time like that. Like when you die, it's gone. Do you understand? It's gone. And when people start to focus more on legacy and saying, listen, when I'm gone, what will be said about me? What will I be leaving to this earth? What was my mark? I came here, I had 50, 60, 70, 100, however many years. What did I leave behind? What did I set up for my next generation? What did I build? What am I going to be remembered for? That is more powerful. We've seen people like Martin Luther King, Bob Marley, even Tupac, Biggie. These are people that we talk about years and years after they're gone. They live short lives, but the impact, the change was great. And for me, that's what's more important than what we can buy and consumerism.
That's good, you know. That is so good, because there's 2 points that you touched on, which was like, you talked about the reason why people get divorced is not to do the big house and all these kind of things. With some people like Jeff Bezos get divorced and him have billions.
The richest man.
Richest man.
Still wasn't enough to keep them together.
Still wasn't enough to keep them together. And I feel like you'd think that would help people's thought process in terms of how they valued themselves and how they looked at themselves in the mirror and said, you know what, I'm more than just a dollar or a pound sign or these types of things. But it didn't. And then you talked about the pandemic, which kind of links into the next question, where essentially people were forced to spend time with their family. It wasn't like I had an option to stay in the yard. It wasn't an option I had to, like, I'm going to spend time with my missus and the kids, like, rather than go somewhere else. Like, you had to do that. And then what's happened is, or what feels like's happened is, we've come out of we're coming out of what was a lockdown and a pandemic, and now we're having to supposedly grind a lot harder now to get money, because things are now more expensive than when we started the pandemic. Gas is more expensive, electricity, all these different types of things. So people are now having to make choices of, okay, do I actually go to like a Nando's or a TGI's, or do I save that money because I'm going to need it for the gas for the rest of the month? Like, there's these decisions that we're having to make, which are we didn't foresee.
No.
One of the things I want to talk about in terms of your life, though, is when you've had some ups and downs, some downs and ups in terms of, like, with finances. And was there any advice that you wish you had got at the time when you was in your downs, especially when you had the money, you was making that money? Was there any advice that you thought to yourself, if someone had just told me this, it would have changed almost everything?
I think, you know what, the funniest thing is, I know what I want to say. I heard it at the time and I didn't listen anyway.
Oh, really?
The biggest thing was property.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mum was on to me, buy a house. Yeah. And my oldest, and this is why I'm so on the young people now, like, I'm always on them, like, buy a property, get on the property ladder as soon as possible.
Yeah.
None of my oldest, none of them, like the oldest that I looked up to, were on property.
Yeah.
They were all on like just enjoying life and mortgages. They even started using Bible scriptures to tell me not to, tell us not to buy a house and stuff like that. There is lifetime something, and it's bondage and and proper putting us off buying. After they made us obviously burn all our circular CDs and throw them all away. I'm still paying to today. Anyway, we're not gonna go. Like, seriously, this religion thing is serious. Listen, it's a serious thing. So yeah, I had no CDs and no property. So I was making dough, and I was like, you know what? I didn't understand ownership. Do you understand the importance of ownership? And my mom kept saying, buy a house, but you're making money. At that time when my mom was telling me buy a house, although I was a financial advisor, I didn't do mortgages. I didn't understand more. I was 22.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was 22. So I was so young. I've studied stuff and give advice, but I'm not, you can learn something, but you don't know how it really works in the world, because you haven't lived. You haven't lived. Like, do you understand? You can understand enough to answer questions in a book, but you haven't lived it to experience, to understand how it works in real life. You know what I mean? And so I'm making this money. And so for my mom's like, buy a house. At that time, there was no deposit needed. And so there was no deposit needed, and I could have bought something and, had ownership. And then when I had my downs, I could have then had the option to move out, move out, rent it out, get an income that could have supported me. These are all things that wasn't an option. So it led to debt. Remember, if I had the asset, it would have gone up in value. I could have refinanced. I could have done so many different things. But there was no ownership. And I think a lot of the time, the focus for me and a lot of people around me was on looking like you're being successful. And actually the focus should have been on ownership. Because you see, this life, I want us to own our lives. I want us to own our lives. Like, there's nothing wrong with renting. Like, renting is cool. And for a lot of people right now, it's going to be very difficult to even try and get on that ladder, especially for Black people who tend to live in cities where property prices are higher. So, it's difficult. But one of the big things to really understand is that at any given time, someone can tell you, I want to take the house back. I want to increase that. I'm going to increase that rent, and so forth. And you are not really in control. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't have ownership.
Yeah.
And I think that's not talked enough. And that was something that I wish somebody really sat down and made me understand the importance of ownership, and not my parents. Because let me tell you, I've been battling them guys for so long that when they tried to actually come with some sense, I didn't want to hear it.
You're not trying to hear it.
I didn't want to hear it. No way. Like, you guys have been trying to keep me in like Russia. Like, you understand? Like, under lock and key and rules, and only go to church, come back, only go to this. Why are you out? When you go out, your mom's ringing your phone. It's only 10:30 and you're calling me like it's 2 in the morning. When I get home, we start doing prayer and Bible study, start speaking in tongues that the devil's using me. Like, do you understand that? Like, you look at your friends and you just feel like these people are trying to trap you and hold you. And so when they came with that one piece of sense,
you weren't trying to hear it.
I weren't trying to hear it. And that's why for me, it's so important for me, because I never had a me when I was coming up. If I had someone online that I could look at and say, looks like me, sounds like me, comes from a background like me, and they're telling me to do this for me, I would have listened. And that's why I'm like, you know what, no matter what, I need to spread this message, spread the voice, and let people know so they don't make mistakes like me. Because when we feel like, you know, life is always going to be good. Like, okay, I'm making this money. Listen, this thing is up and down on a regular. And what needs to happen is, you need to, when you're making it, you need to put it away. Because for them rainy days. And the thing is, it's very hard, because especially when you haven't had it. Like, imagine telling someone who's thirsty, I haven't drank water for time. Here's a bottle of water, and then tell them, listen, just take a few sips and hold some for later. Man's gonna think, right, you know, my throat is dry, big man. I need to back this a whole bottle. Do you understand? Even this bottle's not even enough. Forget later. I'm thirsty. Do you understand? And sometimes that's what we're telling people to do. Like, people are dry. They haven't seen water for time. And we're saying, listen, don't drink all the water. Keep some water in storage for later. Do you know what I mean? But it's so important, because you might see, right, I've got bare bottles of water, but it comes and goes so quickly. And then the worst part is when you then go down, you start reminiscing about, do you remember when we had like 20 bottles of water in this place?
That water was nice, you know.
That water was nice, you know.
That water in 2012 was nice, you know.
And someone told me to save some, but man thought the water can never run dry. And now we're here looking at one bottle between all of us, like
we're in the club.
Do you understand? Like we're in the club. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You know what you said? You said something there. And you were talking about your parents, who whatever the relationship was at that point, when they gave you that piece of advice, you weren't really trying to hear it because of how the relationship had developed. But then you also had your friends who weren't really on the property thing, so you really you're between a rock and a hard place, because it's like there's nothing that's coming into you information wise which is saying, do this, this is how to better use your money, this is how to better do this. But then also on top of that, as we are as people, we're great at giving advice to people when the advice is good for us as well. But then when someone gives us that same advice, we can't take it.
It's terrible. We can't take it. And the thing is, sometimes it's how it's packaged. I want to say, like, one thing about my parents, like, they're ass. Like, do you understand? Like, they don't know how to add a little sugar to the It's just hard. Do this. I told you, because I'm your parent. Like, I don't want to listen. I don't want to hear it. I'm too westernized. You need to come with me with some stats, some statistics, this is how it's worked. Oh, some examples, some case studies. Like, I need to see some facts.
Yeah, and I think as well, the issue, because it's the same with Caribbeans as well. Like, that first generation or second generation coming over here, especially to the UK, the way they look at the world is like, I worked hard, this is what I had to do, so you need to do it exactly this way. Like, I have the blueprint for what I did. I don't have the blueprint for what you're trying to do. I don't have the blueprint for what you see, but I have the blueprint for what I did. So what I did, all I can say is do this, do that, because that's what works for me. So it's they don't have sometimes they don't even have the words to really just say, this is what, do this, but you know, it's okay to do this, because they see it as like, if you don't do this, there's going to be problems down the line.
Exactly.
One of the things where during your ups and downs was probably stewardship of money. Which I don't think we talk about enough in terms of like, not to go too biblical, but in Matthew when the Jesus telling the parable of the three servants who've been given these gifts, and he says, yo, you've got 5, you've got 2, and you've got 1, and each of them are basically being asked to steward these gifts or this money, regardless of the amount. Why is stewardship so important regardless of how much it is, in terms of how you would then manage your money later on when you have more, or later on in life?
2 things. I always say it's 2 things. One is that if you can manage £10, you can manage £100, you can manage £1,000, you can manage 10,000, 100. It's all the same. Yes. It's just a zero. If you can manage, like some of the best, most frugal, best people with money are people that have been broke. People that have been broke, and then when they make money, they keep the same broke mentality in regards to how they manage it. They don't allow themselves to think, oh, now I'm rich. Or now they keep that mentality of, listen, I understand the importance of what I have. I understand that I never used to have this. And so it's important that you understand the stewardship. But 2 is also that, for me, like being a husband and being a father, that although you make the money's not yours. And I don't think people understand that. Like, it's not yours. Like, if I make 10K in a month and I decide to blow 10K, that wasn't my 10K to blow. No. Because I got 4 kids that didn't ask to be here. You understand? I decided to do enjoyment. Now they're here. That's my responsibility. Do you see what I'm saying? So when I make money, there's money to them. There's also money to my wife. There's also, because she's here supporting me. Yes, she makes her own money as well, but that is our family's money. That is the money we're going to use to build for our family. Because our family, to me, our family is my first business. Like,
you know what? Carry on.
No, that is the first place where we start to build money. And I think a lot of other communities understand the concept, and I don't feel that we do enough in the Black community. I see too often where it comes to a point where we're making money, there'll be 3 incomes in the house, and 3 people are trying to buy 3 different houses. And in other communities, there's 3 incomes and they're trying to buy 1 together. And guess what? People say, oh, the banks are racist. And let me tell you something. You go with 3 incomes. Listen, the computer says yes. It don't matter what, even if they ain't got no option. Do you understand? Because if they say, oh, 1 can't afford it, but there's another person. 2, there's another. When you go 3 incomes up, and then what happens is they just wait. Okay, 3 of us buy this one. Okay, excellent. We all save again. Okay, great. 3 of us buy the next one. Okay, great. We save again. Buy the 3rd one. By the time they get to the 3rd one, they bought the 3rd one. There's equity in the 1st one to buy the 4th one. There's equity in the 2nd one to buy the 5th one. And it's a cycle. So now all of a sudden, instead the same time it would have taken us to buy 1 and buy 1, these lot have got 6.
It's true.
So they got 1 to live in and 1 to rent out. And guess what? They still live in 1 and rent out the other 5.
It's crazy.
It's mad.
It's crazy. And sorry to cut you. The thing is as well, I've spoken to people and I've said, okay, how big's your house? People of other communities. And they've said, I got a nice little 5-bed. Little 5-bed,
Little 5-bed.
I got a nice little 5-bed. Oh, okay. Yeah. Me and my brothers and my dad, we bought this house. And then my parents live just down the road because we bought that house. And then my brother lives like 2 roads away because we bought that house. And I'm just like, hold on. He was like, it was a wedding gift. Like we all just put. It's just like, oh, wedding gift. House.
About that one. Yeah.
So it's like, it's a mentality shift. Like, and I feel like this is where the people, us as people, have not an issue, but we are so far behind. And until we are properly taking notice and being like, okay, we need to do this, this, and this as a collective, because individuals can do it and they can live their life fine. But until as a collective of people, we're able to say, okay, we need to do this, this, and this. We need to do this if we pattern it this way, and everyone's aligned along that side, that way. we'll be fine. But we have that disconnect. For some reason, sorry, you're gonna say, Karen.
Yeah, no, and I love what you said in regards to like, you know, even that when they say, yeah, my brother lives there. For 2 years, brother was living with mum and dad, and they were stacking together. Yes. Like, listen to like we get our first job and we're already on Rightmove and Zoopla looking for something. On the and you know, our first job, we're earning like a young 15K
16K.
And we're out here trying to rent a whole yard.
The thing is, the thing is, we're trying to rent a whole yard as well as going out every week, going out to eat, going out to go. Carry on. And again, it's because we don't understand value. We look at it as shame. Oh, I get married and move. If I get married and move back in with my parents, it's an embarrassment. Listen, know your own journey. I speak to clients all the time. I'm like, listen. Go move back in with your parents. This is an asset. This is something. Some of us forget that. Wow, when your parents gone, you're gonna inherit this. Yeah. So technically, mortgage paid off as well.
It's partly your yard anyway. You're gonna inherit it. So why would you feel embarrassed to live in it? You lived in it already when you were younger, but now you got big. You feel like, oh no, I gotta have my own space. Listen, go make that sacrifice. Don't watch people say, oh, you live with your mom and you're in your 20s or your 30s or whatever. Bruv, it doesn't matter. Why do we care for people? The people that would say that to you, when it was lockdown, did they call you? Listen, they were stuck in their yard, couldn't go out. TV was dead. Nothing could get filmed. Everything was reruns. Everything was reruns on the television. And they still never thought, let me phone my man. Or let me text my man, make sure. So why do we care for people who, even in a state of crisis, never think to call you? Yeah. And so this is the mindset that we have to get off. Listen, I don't care what no one says. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, you know what? I wore this the other day on the internet. I said to E-man, I will wear the thing again. Did I not pay for it?
Wear it again.
If it's washed and it's clean and man smells good, what do I care how many times I wear it?
Listen, wear it again.
I'll wear it. The only time I tell you, when these lot start sending me free items, then okay, I can
switch it up. Yeah, when it's free.
As long as I've got to pay, let me get my money out of my clothes. You understand? And sometimes we start moving in ways and thinking like we're celebrities. Oh, you know what? Like, I'm a big fan of Uber, for security reasons. Like, you know, I'm a big fan. If you're coming home late or whatever, if you're going out, think about how you're getting home. Do you know what I mean? We've seen a lot of madness. What's money? What's spending money on your security and safety? Yeah. But listen, don't tell me you went to Sainsbury's at 2:00 in the afternoon and you Ubered home. Right. No way. When you would have normally got bus, all because you got an app. Listen, let's start understanding what we're doing. Like, even sometimes you've even got food in the yard and you're still ordering takeaway.
Rice at home. There's rice at home.
And my thing is that I ain't got a problem with it as long as you can understand and budget. My problem is that more time you be telling me, E-man, I don't know where my money is. I don't know where it's going. I don't know why I can't invest. Oh, I really want to buy. I want to get into crypto. Or I really want to start buying stocks, but I have no money.
It's the Uber Eats. It's that Uber Eats receipt that you get.
Listen, it is. when I tell you, when I do sit down with people, 40-50% of their money is going on food. Yeah. Then when you then look at if they're renting or their mortgage, of course there's nothing left by the time you then add travel. Yeah. And all that, like, what's left? Of course not. But the problem is that, are we ready to make the sacrifices? Are we ready to make the sacrifices to reach it? Or do we really want it? Yeah. And that's another thing I always tell people. Do you really want it? 9 times out of 10, you don't really want it. You think you want it, and it sounds good on paper, but you don't really want it because your intentions will tell me that you don't. We're not intentional. It's a word that we don't use enough. Are we intent? Even in relationships, are we intent? Do you really want that girl? Do you really want? Are you really, or is it something that you want from her? You don't really want her. You want what you can get from her, and that's one of the problems that we have with these relationships. Is that we're not being intentional. Are my intention? You know, like back in the day, you meet someone's parents and they say, "What are your intentions?" Yeah, do you understand? Do you understand? Yeah. What are your intentions? We had to be intentional. These days, we are wishy-washy all over the place. And that spreads not just in relationships, that spreads with our money, that spreads with our jobs. Some people be complaining they ain't got no money, but you got a job, you're going to work late. Ain't that a place where you can increase your money? Is your job not a place where you can increase your money? It doesn't make, your intentions don't match what you're telling me.
You know what the thing is as well? People understand what it is to be intentional. Can I tell you why? When they were younger and they wanted that sweet, or they wanted
Oh, my
that crisp,
goodness.
or they wanted
Yeah,
that
yeah,
drink,
yeah.
that K-egg, black grape,
Come
or
on.
whatever it was, the
Come on.
Tropicana, whatever it
Come
was.
on. Come on.
They made sure they had enough money after school, or they had
Yeah.
enough money after college to make sure, yo, I'm going to get this drink, or I'm going to get this little thing. So people know what it is to be intentional. They know what it feels like. So they know when they want something. It's just a case of, how bad do you want it?
Exactly.
How bad do you want it? One of the things that you said as well, which I really wanted to touch on, you're talking about the money isn't yours. When if you make 10K, you 10K in a month, because you've got, you know, your family, the money isn't yours. What I don't think we realize, especially as people, is we are living out our will. So what happens is we write a will at the end when we pass away, and we say we're going to leave this to this person, leave this to this person, leave this to this person. But as we continue to make money, continue to work, we are living out this will, because yes, we've made however much money we've made in a month. But that's got to go to this person and to this person and to this person while we're still here. And I don't think people really budget for that and deep it in their mind. At some point, we're going to have to do a part 2, because we're on the last question. We're on the last question.
No way.
We're on the last question. If someone only caught this last section of the video, what would be your lasting piece of advice or encouragement to them?
You know what? I just want us to win together. I think society has told us that, you know, we're all individuals. You're white, you're black, you're Asian, you're a man, these are all tags, you're a woman, do you know what I mean? There's so many different tags that we put on ourselves. You're young, you're old, you know what I mean? There's you're fat, you're slim. There's so many different things. Listen, I just want to, we are just humans at the end of the day. And the more we can work together and learn together. I remember, like, and this is just me being 100, like, I grew up in the hood. We didn't trust police. And police was always white. I'm not gonna lie to you. I only started seeing black police now that I've got older. In my ends, police are always white. And I grew up not trusting white people. And so I'd only trust my own. And so you see, like, things like the property thing I was saying earlier. If I would have had someone from another community that I would have had open to, maybe I could have got a different influence. Maybe I could have, if I had a few Asian friends that I was actually close to, they could have said, right, yeah, we bought this house together with my do you understand? And sometimes we are limiting ourselves. In fact, my agent, like, most of the people that bust me right now in life are white. And are women. And are women. And are women. White women are really, really helping me in my career. Do you understand? Helping me open doors that I can't open on my own. And it's like, actually, like, let's not allow these tags and these things to hold us back. Like, we are in a land of opportunity. And when I say a land, I don't mean England. I'm talking on the internet, you can be anywhere. You can be any. I got people right now who live in the UK and they work in Australia, they work in America, they work on that time. Because now you can get a job anywhere. You can get a job and you don't need to live in it with internet and the way things have moved forward. Don't limit yourself to your postcode or your area or your mandem or your, like, listen, there is a wide world out there. I was saying the other day, I went to Malta, and this is my last, I went to Malta, and in Malta, there was a car park for yachts. I just saw about 30 yachts parked one after the other. Boom, boom. And in there, man, we're on laptops, some are having drinks. And I said, what? My brethren are dying over postcodes. And these men have a car park for their yachts. The world is massive. Don't limit yourself. The only limit is the limit you put on yourself. This is why it's so important to read. It's so important to educate. And now if you don't like reading audiobooks, whatever it is, and be intentional with the social media. You're on Instagram. Don't just be following accounts that just give you banter. Yeah, it's good to laugh, but also get some education from it. You're on YouTube. Don't just focus on gossip channels that you're just listening to other people's business. Like, sometimes focus on how do you start your own business? Do you know what I mean? How are you better with your business? How are you better with your mindset? Like, all of these platforms are out there. Are we using them to better ourselves? Or are we using them to keep staying in the same place? For me, the world is, when I realized that men are really enjoying life, like, there's, like, when you think about your job, somebody had a vision and a dream to create a job, and now they can afford to pay you. I don't think people really, somebody had a dream and now they can afford to pay you for your time. and you're just here accepting it. Like, where's your dream?
Yeah.
When are you gonna hire somebody? When are you gonna create something that gives you value and gives you your time back?
Yep.
Remember, time is the most important commodity. That's the last thing I want people to remember. Time is the most. I meet people who, you see, rich is beautiful. See, wealthy is beautiful. But you see, when COVID hit them, they was on the same ventilator like you. You understand?
Yeah.
The same ventilator. Like, there's nothing. Time is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're looking up, that you're making sure that you're spending the time best. Best, and then the money, all of that is to just make it. It's all I call it the seasoning. Like, do you understand? The time that's the meat. You understand? That's the rice and chicken.
Yeah.
The money, that's just the seasoning, make it taste better. Do you know what I mean? And let's have that mindset. Like, I want to make sure I'm having the best time possible. I'm enjoying my time. I have time freedom.
Yeah.
And then let the money come to give you make it better.
Yes.
And hopefully that spoke to someone.
Emmanuel, I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you.
Bro, I can't believe this is done. I'm vexed.
He's just getting into it.
I'm just getting started.
Nah, we have to revisit this at some point, and we have to come something else. We'll have another topic. But
yeah, we have to.
We appreciate you coming on. For everyone who's been watching, this is the Eman Effect UK. Make sure you go follow everything. Follow the podcast. Follow the Instagram. Follow the. You're on Twitter. You're on Twitter as well.
Yeah, Twitter.
Follow the Twitter. Follow everything. Follow everything. Yeah. Make sure you go follow him up and go and watch what he's doing. He's doing some amazing stuff, giving some amazing advice to me and a lot of other people. This has been Conversation with Haych, the how-to series. And thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we have much more content coming for you very, very soon.